Welcome to episode 208 of the We Are Auto Show. What's up, Derek?
Mr. Michael Rao, a big event happened this past, I think it was a week, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, SpaceX launched a big rocket.
They did.
They launched a big rocket down in Texas. Did you hear about this?
I heard something about a rocket not going well.
Oh, all right. Little rant to have here.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
The press.
The press.
We love the press.
I despise mass media.
I think most of us do. They're in a weird spot where they have to get views, clicks, eyeballs. Eyeballs make them money.
Correct.
The way to do that is to get right to the edge. Right to the edge of what is truth and not. Right to the most controversial take. Right? So you heard a rocket exploded.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. That's most of the articles. Elon's new big rocket blows up in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They're not wrong. But this was a test flight. It was guaranteed to blow up. They said it was going to blow up. That was part of the plan.
Oh, so it was a controlled blowing up.
We'll see what happens here in a moment.
But it was a planned blowing up.
This was the first ever test flight of Starship. Now, this vehicle is the biggest, most powerful rocket ever launched in humanity's history.
Oh, really?
It's massive. It's an 80-story building. It
Jesus.
is humongous.
Compare that to the Empire State Building.
I don't know off the top of my head what the height of the Empire State Building is.
I will find that out.
You look that up, and you look up Starship's height as well. It'll probably be in meters, so you'll have to do a little converting. But anyway, this was...
The Empire State Building has 103 floors.
Okay, so it's nearly the Empire State Building.
Yes.
Try and go to space.
Oh, maybe no. Maybe... Is it more?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. Either way, yeah, it's a lot of floors on the Empire State Building. 102 floors. That's what I thought. Yeah, 102 floors, and you said this is 80 stories.
Yes.
So
yes,
nearly the size.
Think of the Empire State Building trying to launch to space.
That's freaking huge.
So I'm gonna give you the quick little synopsis of what happened here. We're actually gonna watch the video. I'm gonna kind of jump around and I'll point some things out. But first, they were in Texas, but they were in the very, very, very south part of Texas. If we look at a map here, way down in, I think the biggest big town is Brownsville. Brownsville's down here somewhere. Where is Brownsville at?
Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi. Yeah, Brownsville's somewhere down in South Texas. Is it way out here? Nope, McAllen. I don't know. Oh, Brownsville's down here. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's more toward the beach. Obviously, they're going to launch it over water. That's where you launch rockets, because if they blow up, you want it to land in the water and not on people. So that's the idea there. If we go way down here, where the Rio de Janeiro, the river. That
which Rio?
Rio Grande. Sorry, not de Janeiro. Yeah, the Rio Grande. If we go a little bit north, you'll see Boca Chica, Texas down here, and Boca Chica Village. This is actually the launch facility. You can see the launch pad, the giant tower here, if you look at these shadows. And then you can see one of the little ships right there, that silvery thing. Mm-hmm. If we scroll over this way, we see another silvery thing. They're basically going to take those two, stack them on top of each other, put it in this little circular bit next to the tower. We're going to send it to space. Okay? It's running on liquid oxygen and liquid methane. This is not... liquid hydrogen and liquid methane like the SLS was. This is methane and oxygen. A little different fuels, still pretty cool. So let's take a look at what ends up happening here. If we watch, I'm going to kind of jump ahead. You'll see them light the engines.
Yep.
You'll see it kind of sit there for like a couple seconds. You'll see some debris start flying around.
Yep, there's
and
debris.
And then we actually go. And a lot of people were kind of like, whoa, they actually went. What the heck? We didn't expect this. This is kind of crazy.
Real quick, how close are the nearest human beings to that going on?
5 miles away.
Okay.
Far
away. If it blows up there, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. But if we look in the bottom left, do you see the dots? Do you see the circles? Okay. This plays along, those are the engines. There's 33.
That's what I figured. It
bottom.
Looked like it's an engine thing.
Yep. If it's not filled in, the engine is dead. So we started down 3 engines. We just lost the 4th. You see that one went out.
Yep.
This was supposed to have ideally all 33 engines. But we're already down 4 of 33, which is not ideal. You can also see that the flame is supposed to be clear. It's very not clear. It's very yellowy. That is known as engine-rich exhaust. It's kind of eating its own engine as it goes, which is not...
That sounds great.
Not good, ideally. This is a very cool shot.
Oh, that's with the ones that are... Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can see the ones that are good and the ones that are not. That's also a cool shot. SpaceX did a fantastic job with their broadcast, I will say. Now I'm going to jump ahead probably about a minute here. So we're still climbing in altitude, still climbing.
Lost another engine.
Yep, we've lost a couple engines by now. And about this point in the flight, we go on board and things start to go a little wonky. They show this footage from in the inner stage. This is between the two. The black bit on top is supposed to separate from the silver bit on bottom. You're supposed to have the separation, and then the black bit's supposed to go to orbit and go splash down in Hawaii. That was the plan. We never actually get there. So they lost hydraulics from what people can tell. And you can see it was kind of flipping around there, and it was kind of doing some crazy maneuvers. And if we look on the right, it's very sideways at the moment. It's supposed to be going straight on from the airstream, not sideways to the airstream.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of tumbling around. As this continues to tumble, you'll notice the engines, I think there are, 5 out at the moment.
They look like they're trying to fire.
Yep. At this point in the flight, they were, I think 3 minutes was the time of separation, or supposed to be. So that just ticked away, and they still haven't separated the vehicle. This is basically the point in the broadcast where all the people at SpaceX kind of started to chill out a bit. And they weren't really super happy because they knew that things were going awry. And as it continues to fall...
But I thought you said this was supposed to happen.
So the initial plan is that this was supposed to go up, do its separation. The top bit was supposed to go over toward... It was supposed to do one orbit around Earth, basically nearly a full orbit. It was supposed to land over in Hawaii, the waters in Hawaii. It was going to splash down. It was going to crash and sink to the bottom of the ocean. That was the plan. The booster bit was supposed to come...
environmentally friendly for the ocean?
That's fine. There are a lot of rocket stages in the ocean, I'll tell you that. This is not the only one.
I'm just being Greta Thunberg. Just
all those shuttle tanks, those
her.
orange tanks,
yeah,
they're at the bottom of the ocean.
I know.
Yeah, that's just how it works. Although SpaceX does do a good job at recovering the first stage right now. They've landed 150 of them on Falcon 9.
Sure.
So, yeah. Then the plan in the future with this, they will reuse all of this. All of this will land and come back, which is pretty cool. But this one, the booster was going to come back, land in the ocean out in Texas, and it was going to sink and become a coral reef. And then the booster was going to be by Hawaii. As we watch it still tumbling, like 3.5 minutes into flight here, you can see that things are very not okay at the moment. And it also has these puffs of smoke coming out the center. I'll talk about those in a moment. You see those white trails?
Doesn't look good.
No, it's very ungood at the moment. But this is not even the worst bit, because it gets better from here.
Does it go boom?
It does go boom.
Oof.
Give it like 10 more seconds.
So the media was not incorrect, were they?
No. Like I said, they have to walk the fine line of trying to get the most clicks and talking about what happened. So there's first,
Nikes.
There's second. So that was the end of the flight. That was clearly the end of the flight.
See ya.
Yeah. They use the flight termination system, which is what you're supposed to do when it's an out-of-control vehicle. They actually have dynamite on the side of the rocket, and they blow it.
Do they really?
Yeah, they blow it up. Yeah. That's just the best way. The reason they do that is because if it came down in one big chunk...
Oh, it's more likely to kill people.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to make it a million small chunks. So that was the flight. It went... All it was planned to do was to be a flight test to gain data, right? They wanted to see how much data they could gain from it, if they could get it to orbit, if they could figure out if the heat shield worked. It didn't go as well as they had hoped. Let's talk about what really the big problem that they're going to have to solve here. So if we went to... this is another video from a drone. You can see as it lifts off here. I'll mute it for us. Watch like around the right side, pretty much right above where our heads are on the YouTube video here. You'll see these splashes in the ocean here.
Yeah,
happening right now. Those are chunks of concrete. Those are chunks of concrete from the pad. The pad got annihilated, absolutely annihilated. You can see little chunks right here. In nearly a mile around the pad, it obliterated it. So
just because it's so powerful for the concrete they had?
So if we look at this photo, on the left is when they were putting down the concrete for the pad, right?
Yeah.
They had like this hexagonal shape. On the right is what it looks like after it launched.
Jeez.
You can see rebar right here, just spewed. The concrete is gone. It dug something like a 30 to 40 foot hole in the ground. It's down to the water table. It is obliterated its own launch pad. And there were people wandering around. You could just see photos of giant rocks that have like rebar sticking out of them, just almost a mile away from the launch pad.
Oh my God.
So they got a problem to solve, which is the launch pad itself. They have to fix the launch pad.
That is a problem.
They have another ship in booster combo. They have 2 ready to go. They just don't have a launch pad anymore.
Yeah, now they can't. Is this their main launch pad?
This is their main test pad. They're building this kind of pad over in Kennedy Space Center in Florida, but it's not ready to go. And they're probably going to have to make changes to the way that they're building it based on how this flight went.
Oh, yeah.
They initially thought that they were going to lose some concrete and whatnot, and that'd be fine. They didn't think it'd do this kind of damage. This was catastrophic damage.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, you remember how 3 engines were out after liftoff?
Yeah.
It's because it basically shotgunned the own bottom of the vehicle with chunks of concrete. It blew its own engines out.
So as it's lifting off, it's blowing concrete back up, essentially.
Yes.
Damn.
And it shotgunned its own bottom.
Jesus.
It was quite the flight. It was quite the day for the SpaceX people. Now, this will be the vehicle that will take people to Mars.
No.
Why?
I'm not getting on this.
You're not. But I said people, not you.
I'm not people?
You're a person. It won't be you going. I can guarantee you that.
Who would go?
There are a lot of crazy people out there that'll go.
Who would live? Who lives close to SpaceX?
Who lives close to SpaceX?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let me ask you this question. What do you mean lives close? SpaceX is in.
If you work there, where do you go? What do you do?
What, you're an engineer? You solve problems?
Yeah, but where do you
build
live?
stuff?
Because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I think that there's a town called like South Padre Island. There's a little island with a village, and there's places to live there.
I bet it was probably pretty gnarly to be there when it's blasted.
Yes, the village itself had the cloud of debris, and people had little tiny rocks of concrete on top of their cars when they came out the next day. Yeah, it like rained concrete like 5 to 6 miles away.
I would absolutely be so pissed at Elon if he ruined my car because his stupid rocket.
It's not they were like tiny pebbles. They were not ruining your car kind of thing. But yes, it was dust basically.
I see.
Dust. Yeah, it was quite the event. It was neat, and Elon Time says we'll have this ready in a month or 2. Nobody else thinks that. Everybody's like, no, this is a 6-month fix at least.
What, the launch pad?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 6-month fix at least.
Yeah. Elon says, we'll have it ready in a month. We'll launch another one. It's like, no, dude. No, you won't. There's no way.
You would have to have crews working 28 hours a day.
Right.
That's not, brother, that's not how this goes.
No, yeah.
Elon is a bit of a mad scientist.
He is.
I don't think he understands how time and space work.
He understands how he has Elon time.
It's just
which you take Elon time and you multiply it by 3, and that's the realistic time frame that you'll get whatever he wants done. That's what people have figured out. Take Elon time, multiply it by 3, probably when it'll happen.
Crazy.
So if he says 1 to 2 months, 6 to 9 months.
So would
Seems
you want
realistic.
to go move to South Padre Island, Texas?
No, I will want to go watch a launch once they're over in Cape Canaveral. That'll be cool.
You don't want to drive to Texas to go watch one over there?
No, especially not the south bottom end. That'd take forever to get there.
You don't want to watch a launch from Mexico?
It's probably faster to drive from here to New York than it is from here to Boca Chica.
You're probably not far off.
Yeah.
You're probably a good 24 hours either way.
Right. Texas is big. It's really big.
That does remind me when my wife and I moved back from Colorado, we took the southern route through Texas. And I do very vividly remember having that exact thought of like, God damn, we've been driving through Texas for like 9 hours.
And you're not even halfway done.
And I'm like just barely crossing the middle of the state here. And
Yeah.
I got like another 1,000 hours to go. Good God.
Yeah.
It's a big state.
It is a big state. But cool stuff what they're doing. Let's do the car spots of the week, my friend.
Okay. You start.
I do have one. So I saw, very fitting, a Tesla Model S Plaid.
Okay, we do see those often, but now that brings me a good question. What car do you think the people that work at SpaceX drive?
I think you have to have a Tesla.
Do you?
I don't know if you have to, but I think it's like you have to.
Like, you know how like firemen always have a red truck
Right?
lifted?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the law.
The unspoken law. Yes.
Yeah. I'd like to get an aerial shot of the parking lot at SpaceX.
It is what you would expect.
I'm curious, what percentage of vehicles are
The
Teslas?
construction guys have F-150s and like that kind of stuff. Couple Rivians sprinkled in there.
Mm.
And then all the engineers have Model 3s and Model S's. And maybe if you're crazy, if you're the dad, you got a Model Y or an X. It's a Tesla factory parking lot. That's what it is.
That's what I would imagine. I would imagine you roll up to SpaceX, Tesla parking only.
Yeah.
Or would you like to park your F-150 Lightning way out in Peasantville? Goodbye.
And there's no way you ever find a charger that's unoccupied. No way.
Or would the right move just be to make every spot a charger?
I don't think that's how it's set up currently at the facility where they launched this. But I'm sure there has to be a massive charging station somewhere for all those cars. There has to be.
I mean, that's a lot of charging.
Yeah, there's a lot of Teslas there. Anyway, saw a Plaid. Yeah, if you're at SpaceX, you're buying a Tesla.
I'm so
You just
curious.
kinda
If you
are.
work for SpaceX, let us know in the comments. What do you drive? Do you drive a Tesla or not? Is it like the law? I think
Also,
it is.
Do you get a discount?
No,
Why?
because you're just consumer A.
Company
Mm.
owned by Tesla or by Elon? Both of them? I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea.
I'd be curious.
Yeah. What did you see?
Well, I saw some things that are much more up my alley.
Okay.
I saw a Lamborghini, first and foremost, which was not normally something that sticks out, but it is a new one that I have not seen yet. It is the new Huracan Tecnica.
Tecnica.
We talked about this. This is that supposed to be like a softer version of like the Performante STO sort of thing.
You can buy these already?
Yeah, they're already on the roads.
Huh.
I saw one that looked pretty much just exactly like that spec driving around.
Neat.
Sounded great. Sounded like
sure.
that same Lamborghini 5.2 or 5 point something liter V10. Yeah.
Did it have any difference from the current iteration of this car?
It has a wing, a different wing, and a different front fascia.
From your perspective, was it bigger, smaller, wider, or just like, nope, same thing, just slightly modified?
It had a wing and a different front fascia.
Okay.
End.
All right.
But it made my spot list because it's the new Tecnica. It's the first one I've seen.
Okay. Neat.
It was cool to see. It does look a little more, with that new front aero, it does look a little more striking,
Yes.
I will say. But that is not my spot of the week. My spot of the week goes to a relic. A car that I adore. A car that Jeremy Clarkson has actually owned.
A Jag.
Nope.
Ooh.
A Mercedes.
Ooh.
The Mercedes CLK 63 AMG Black Series.
Ooh. You saw black?
I saw, it was actually a white black, but yes.
Mm.
It was pretty well this car.
That's cool.
I was nerding out because now it's an old Mercedes. It's like a 14-year-old Mercedes at this point.
Right.
So if you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, you just think it's a very loud, wide, aggressive-looking old Mercedes. What's so special? But god damn, that car still really does it for me.
When you see a black and you know what to look for, you're like, ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It really, it's got some presence because it's so much wider than everything else. Those fender flares, it's just so much. It's like the difference between a runner and a bodybuilder.
Yep.
Right? The regular AMG is kind of like, maybe not a runner, but maybe like someone does CrossFit.
Right.
Right? They're in good shape. But then you see like the strongest man competition, and the dude just looks like a mountain of a man. That is the Black Series.
Yes.
And I gotta say, I would still own one.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do they make new Black Series?
Well, yeah, kind of. They made the AMG GT Black Series, but I don't know if they're still making new blacks because that was a year ago. But recently, yes.
Okay.
But the CLK 63 AMG Black, one of my favorite Mercedes that have ever been made in the history of the world.
Yes.
I would put this really close to... I actually like this better than the AMG GT Black Series, the new one.
Okay.
I think this one is just so much better. It's just... I love it.
Do you have some specs on this?
I do. I did also notice that it is one of about 500. So they're rarer than I kind of thought.
Oh, I did not know they're there.
You get a great big giant honkin' technically 2-liter V8. It makes 507 horsepower. It makes 465 pound-feet of torque. It does 186 miles an hour. It's a rear-wheel drive only. You get a 7-speed automatic. You get suspension as hard as your granite countertops and seats that are like sitting on boulders. Your weight is about 3,800 pounds, so it's not light. You are lugging around quite a big engine. Weighs quite a lot. But I love it. God, I love it so much.
It is funny you said that the suspension and I'm sure the seats. I'm sure there's some luxury in this, but this thing is just a beast. It's just it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a German muscle car.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
I love it so much. But that's my spot of the week. CLK 63 AMG Black Series.
Solid.
It's always an event when you see one.
Good car spot.
Yeah. You see the Lamborghinis and the Audis all the time, but you don't see a Black Series.
Indeed.
So let's move on. Let's move on to the I wish they would have.
All right.
Do you have one?
I do. So I wish that car companies would design cars with repairability in mind.
Oh, so you mean like instead of just making things so that they work, make things so that they work, but also when they don't work, they can be fixed.
Yeah. And we know right now that there are very thin margins on new cars for car manufacturers. Mm-hmm. Most big car manufacturers, right? Toyota's selling Corollas at very thin margins. Yep. Where they make their profit is in the service department.
Yeah.
Brakes, oil changes, power steering fluid, whatever it is.
An
right?
upsell on a fuel system cleaner for $350 when it's like a $7 can of liquid you get from AutoZone.
Your air filter for your AC, $120.
No.
Okay, great. So I wish that they would design them with repairability in mind because my wife had, I think her thermostat is going out in her car. She has a Mazda. It is an absolute nightmare to fix that thing. She was like, hey, I've got the code pulled, which good on her for doing that.
Yeah.
They were like, yep, this part is going bad. Okay, get it, like $30, no problem. Let's see if we can repair it on our own. Turns out, got to take the wheel off. You got to take half the bits of the engine off. You got to drain the whole radiator. It's a disaster.
It's a pain in the butt.
I don't have a lift. I'm not doing it.
That's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Now, I wish that they designed the cars with repairability in mind, specifically around the engine bay. I know they won't for the profit margins, but for example, here is a company called Framework that builds laptops, and I know laptops and cars aren't exactly the same, but they could use the same design principles here. These laptops come apart very easily. They all use the same screws. They're the same length. You can see the open components of the laptop, and they give you like the frame of the screen, the whole screen, the keyboard. They're all sections.
That's
and then
cool.
Each one of these expansion cards can be slotted in and out of the side of the computer, so they're all interchangeable. And they give you new main boards, motherboards, fans, batteries, all of it. And it's all very easy to expand and change and upgrade as you go on.
That is really cool.
I don't know why we can't do this with other stuff.
I agree. That would make life much easier.
Yeah, it would. And this is a very neat idea. The problem is it's kind of hard to make money doing it. So that's why you won't see car manufacturers do it. I just wish that they did.
Yep. No, that is the I wish they would have idea.
Yep. So do you have one?
I do have one I wish they would have, and it came from one of my students, Charlotte. So thank you for this. And it is something that we've all thought. The I wish they would have that I heard is that I wish car companies would stop turning cool cars into boring electric SUVs. I could not agree more. It's perfect.
Yep.
You're saying what we're all thinking.
Did she give an example?
Mustang Mach-E.
Yeah, that's the quintessential one.
That's
isn't
the
it?
one.
Yep, that's the one.
It would be fine if they just called it a Ford Mach-E.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That'd be fine. But because you called it a Mustang Mach-E, now it's unfine.
Would it have sold more or less if they had ditched the name Mustang?
I actually think it could have sold more.
I don't know.
Because you're really pissing off Mustang fanboys when you do that.
That's true.
And I don't think people are going to it because it's a Mustang. People are going to it because it's an EV.
Mustangs have a very interesting sentiment about them too. It really matters the individual that you're talking to. If you're a car guy, Mustangs have either the I'm going to murder you at a car show vibe, or they have the I'm a big fast drag racing car, or I have the old heritage hasn't moved in the garage in 3 years vibe. It's one of those three. If you ask someone who's not into cars, I don't know what their take is. I'm kind of curious about
Their take is a convertible car that they run up the Pacific Coast Highway. With chrome wheels.
So, if we know that the other demographics, the three that I just talked about, are not buying the Mach-E. They're just not, right?
Correct.
Would putting the Mustang badge on the Mach-E get your average person who wants to drive it up the California highway, would it get them more likely to buy it?
I still don't think so, because I don't think the average person is buying it because it's a Mustang Mach-E. I think they're buying it because it's a Mach-E. Because they're in the market for an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
And their parents had Fords growing up. So they said, oh, Ford has an electric vehicle. I'll just buy that one.
Why would you not just buy a Tesla Model Y?
Because their parents had Fords growing up.
Okay.
Because they want to support an American brand that they've heard of.
A Mach-E base, the Select, which is their base model, starts at $45,000.
Which is more expensive than the Model S or the Model E, or not the Model S, the Model 3.
Yeah, Model 3, yes.
The Model 3, they reduced the prices again, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they're down to under $40,000 for a Model 3.
That's cheap.
Elon is trying to put the screws on the old guys, the old guard in the auto industry. He's trying to set Ford and all them kind of upset. If I were to order a new Model Y right now, they start at $46,000. So
comparable.
Very comparable, within $1,000. What would you rather have? Model Y, Mustang Mach-E?
The Mercedes CLK Black.
If you had to choose.
The Model Y.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I don't like either.
Yeah.
But the Model Y has way better range.
Yes, it does.
There's my answer.
But like I said, charging network.
That too.
Yeah, that's the main reason I think that you would want it.
But that's all hypotheticals because I'm not buying one ever.
I do agree with, what was her name?
Charlotte,
with what she said.
Yes. So,
and hopefully, I suspect, Charlotte, you're going to get more of those coming down the pipeline because the brands are going to use their old versions of their cars as jumping
Chevy
stones.
Camaro.
Yeah. Unfortunately, more are coming.
That's happening.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
It's going to wrap us up then. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please do drop us a comment on the video, hit subscribe, and a thumbs up here. Let us know, what do you think about this whole SpaceX issue? What car do you think they're driving? What do you think about the explosion and all that good stuff? If you're listening on audio, send us those thoughts via social. Facebook is We Are Auto. Instagram is We Are Auto _ YouTube is We Are Auto. And our website is weareauto.io. So thanks again. Catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.